Good morning, everybody. Hey, it's a rainy day here in Sebring, Florida, and just waiting on Dave to get us hooked in. But again, I want to remind everybody that we are offering a free report on Social Security. It's easy to get. Trying to decide when you're going to take Social Security and what those benefits are going to look like are probably going to be one of the most important decisions you have to make regarding your retirement. And so I put together a complimentary report that covers how, who, what, and when about Social Security decisions that you're going to need to make. To get yours, all you have to do is text the word security to 863-285-3815. That's right. Just text the word security to 863-285-3815.
How is that IRA and 401k doing for you? Even if you think you're insulated from investing in stocks, if you got a pension, guess what determines how well that pension fund does? The junk we talk about here each morning as to what's happening on Wall Street. Let's head downtown, see what's going on. Statler Financial Service offices in downtown Sebring, where Phillip Statler is standing by. Phillip, good morning. Another one of those slow days before the floodgates open tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it is a slow day today, Dave. I'm having a hard time to find anything that's of any newsworthiness for us to talk about this morning, but I'm sure you and I will come up with something before the morning's over.
There, we always seem to. A lot of it, to be truthful, on an off news day before we get into a flood of employment indications and reports from the companies and Federal Reserve reports and whatnot tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of it, I guess in the consumer world, we call it gossip more than anything else, but it's just items on the way. President Trump at his cell phone tweeting a threat to throw a bunch of tariffs on Europe, which caused an upset over in Europe and obviously some on ours. The story is that Europe subsidizes Airbus, which is one of Boeing's biggest competitors in the world. And President Trump jumping to the defense of Boeing figures, well, maybe I can help by slapping tariffs on Europe unless they make Airbus more competitive. I'm not sure that's going to help Boeing's woes all that much at the moment, is it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you're right that we're having more issues with Boeing. I mean, yesterday they fell another almost 4.5%, and I looked at them this morning. They're trading down about another 0.75%. So still not near their 52-week low, though. I will say that, Dave. So they've got some room to go before they hit that 52-week low.
Yeah, that's not exactly a bright side of the coin. Boy, they can go lower before their 52 week. That might we might head more in that direction after they report deliveries today. I wonder whether that's going to include return to senders, huh?
Well, that's true. I mean, we've got some. You're right. We've got some cancellations that have come up, and it'll be good to see exactly where they are and what their deliveries look like.
Absolutely. And Boeing was, we talk about Boeing a lot, and folks might say, why are they wasting their time on one stock? Yesterday, the NASDAQ was up by a bit. The Standard & Poor's was up by a bit. The Dow was off by 0.33%. And a lot of analysts are saying, looking at the math, Boeing was the predominant reason that the Dow was off yesterday. So, yeah, it's messing with the entire marketplace by Boeing's woes.
Well, it is, and we've talked about this before, how the Dow is a price-weighted index. So that means is that the price of that stock goes down, it's going to affect that. That index. And so, as opposed to the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, those indexes are not necessarily price-weighted. And so, I mean, they're weighted, but weighted on different principles. And so, the price doesn't have quite as big of an effect as it does on the Dow, especially because there's only 30 stocks.
Absolutely. And on a normal day, yes, you can track the indexes and they go in about the same direction and about the same amount. But when one stock in a 30 industrials index like the Dow is really having a hard time of it, it really can warp the situation. And yesterday was one of those textbook cases of why a price-weighted index is not an indication as to how well your IRA is going, unless, of course, you got a lot of Boeing, right?
Oh, that's true. Exactly. So, and you made a good point there, Dave. Just because the index goes down doesn't necessarily mean that your portfolio is going down. It just means that something in that index could be a handful of stocks when it comes to like the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq are just having a rough day, and the other 400 could be doing well.
Absolutely. Kind of on a related little tidbit while we're talking about tidbits on stocks, one of the things that's been coming out as we start easing our way into earnings season, companies are putting out guidance warnings so that we don't shock the market with either a big positive or a big negative. American Airlines put out a guidance update earlier this morning saying that they were trimming their outlook as far as per seat money and their overall margin for their next quarterly report. That evidently was better news than the market expected, because my understanding is they're trading up today. So sometimes a guidance warning isn't necessarily a bad deal.
Well, no, it's not, but it just lets the stockholders kind of know and the traders know where earnings may come out, and so it's kind of I don't know, a trial balloon, that you let go and say, okay, let's see if they shoot it down and what happens, and then when the real earnings come out, maybe it'll boost it back up sometimes. So, it's one of those things that hey, the quarter's over. They're floating a few things out there to make it a softer landing when the real earnings come out. And we've kind of got the same thing from some of the other companies out there. Walt Disney was upgraded to outperform from market perform, and so they're that's helping them. We have a new stock that's come out. It's called Altrera, and it's a spinoff from I'm trying to find out where it's at here.
I can't even interest along there. I haven't ever heard of the name before.
Yeah, I know. It's a spinoff from one of the drug makers. I can't find the name of it right a second, but yeah, they spun off a specific company, and so they're out there now. And then U.S. Steel was downgraded to underperform from neutral, and so that's putting some pressure on them this morning. They're down about 4.5%. I did a quick little view to see, because now we have a local stock that we can watch that's part of the steel industry, and that's Nucor. And so I kind of took a look at Nucor this morning, and not getting hurt too bad. It doesn't look like this morning. They're down about 1/3% this morning. So it's not bleeding over yet anyway.
Understood. That does indicate a slowdown in the smokestack industries in general, though. Not necessarily a reversal, but the same picture we've been drawing all along. Not doing bad, but we could do better. And U.S. Steel being one of the raw materials manufacturers, that's another indication on the economy being breaking a little bit. I never want to say shrinking, but breaking down a little.
Well, yeah, it is. And so, it's interesting before earnings season gets started, what the companies are doing and what different things are happening. And they're just little key things to I think, to kind of make, like I said, earnings season maybe a little softer landing.
Understood. By the way, while we were talking about other things affecting earnings season ahead, one thing that might mess with guidance has been the big run-up in the price of oil. We've been talking about Venezuela's upset causing difficulty. Our changeover as far as refineries in Texas in advance of the California emissions requirements. They always do that this time of the year. Now a news tidbit comes up. Another part of the world we got to watch if we're paying attention to oil prices. Libya's got civil unrest as well, and they provide some of the highest quality light crude out in the industry. So one more reason why when we get to the market numbers this morning, oil isn't looking as good as we'd like it to either, which just adds a little bit more volatility and uncertainty for the upcoming earnings season.
Well, that's true, Dave. And we get oil from so many different places. Is that if we get a couple of them having issues, then it puts pressure on that oil supply. The other thing I saw is that gasoline prices are up for the 8 straight weeks. With California, which the gas prices are always the highest because they've got all that emissions control stuff they got to put in their gas. But it'll be they're on track to have their highest gas prices in 5 years.
I think God likes me. There was about a nickel a gallon decrease for a couple of days. Right at the end of last week, that's when I gassed up. Somebody likes me upstairs.
And if California is going to see the highest prices they've seen in most 5 years, and hey, our price won't be as high as California, but it means our gas prices are going up too.
Trend's going to be that way, whether we like it or not. Tomorrow, a lot of stuff going on. Probably the marquee from our standpoint is going to be the Federal Reserve minutes being released. Find out exactly what the thought process was behind the no decision on interest rates last time and what their plans are and their thoughts are, see if they're echoing the chairman. I suspect that'll be the big market mover tomorrow, right?
Well, it probably will be late afternoon, but we also have the CPI coming out tomorrow. I think that'll come out before you and I talk. It should come out about 8:30, I believe. And then
Most likely.
crude inventory comes out mid-morning, and then the Fed minutes come out about 2 o'clock.
So, in other words, we're starting the floodgate of information starting tomorrow, and then it goes completely crazy on Thursday and Friday when we actually start getting some earnings reports. Setting the table for the morning. Like we mentioned, Dow was off on the fall of Boeing yesterday by 84 points. Nasdaq, on the other hand, up by a little over 15, and the Standard & Poor's was up by a rock-crushing $3 yesterday. We're 45 minutes out, Phillip. Are we going to start seeing some more green ink this morning, or are we going to keep the Dow's trend?
We're going to keep the Dow's trend this morning. I just saw a little blip that said that the Boeing accounted for $120 of the Dow yesterday. So if you think about that, we would have been in positive territory yesterday if it wasn't for the Dow.
Price-weighted indexes confuse me on the math, don't they?
Yep, they really do. So the Dow is still continuing downwards today, $55 down. The S&P 500 is down 6.5. NASDAQ's down 20. So all three are down about 0.2% or a little bit more. We've got gold and silver both trending up, but gold's up to $1,309 an ounce, and silver's up to $15.30 an ounce. And crude oil is up from where you and I talked yesterday, but down from where it closed. It's at $64.25 a barrel right now.
Starting to get those painful numbers again now. Overseas markets, Europe, understandably, after tariff threats out of the White House, their markets are all off midway through their day. Asia was up and down, searching for a direction, but on the end, they figured, whew, Trump's not talking about us, and they ended up in green ink, which I suppose is good news at their close this morning. Phillip, somebody want to turn this information into a little stability for retirement funds, and sometimes stability is the best you can hope for. How do I make an appointment with you on the phone?
Hey, Dave, give us a call at 863-382-0037. Follow us online at statlerfinancial.com. Follow us on Facebook. Like our page. We post a lot of information there at Statler Financial Services. And then join us every weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, noon on Saturdays, 10 a.m. Sunday mornings on News Talk 730.
And it's also streamed 24/7 at newstalk730am.com. I know you like that, and so do we.
Absolutely, man. Some of my out-of-town folks can get a listen. So, hey, you have a great day, Dave, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, my friend. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Dave this morning. Just want to remind you one more time that we've got a free report on Social Security choices that you're going to have to make when you head into retirement. So to get your free report, text the word security to 863-285-3815. Just text the word security to 863-285-3815. Hey, I hope you'll join us tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks.